Excellent. Welcome to the Town of Douglas Economic Development Commission meeting today, September 2nd, 2020. We have, I believe, everybody in attendance today. Everybody's here. Great.
Do you want to do a roll call?
Sure. Roll call. All right. I'm Luke McNeil. I'm present.
I'm Brad Maltz.
Bob and Eric, aye.
Carol Gogolinsky.
Paul Peterson.
All right. Everybody's here. Would you like to go over the minutes from July 22nd, Paul?
Sure.
Excellent.
I took them off the web actually because I was not present at that meeting, which is kind of a nice feature that the web offers. Basically, Bob and Eric described the most recent activity of the zoning law change and how it had been returned to the Board of Selectmen by the Planning Board. And since then, a new zoning change has been initiated, which allows outside manufacturing by special permit in the industrial zone only. Bob made a motion to submit that change. Brad seconded it, and the motion passed. And I think that's the...
That was a quick meeting.
all that
was a
took
very
place
quick
at that
meeting.
Right.
I'm surprised it took 20 minutes.
Do we have a motion to accept those minutes?
I motion to accept.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Do you want to review the previous ones from June 22 as well? Or we good with that?
I'm happy. I mean, if you guys just want to
We could
I was
just
gonna
read
say,
them.
we'll just do a quick
to
read on it.
ourselves.
And then we
do a
can
quick read.
All right. Excellent. So, first up on our agenda here, we have a 1 million square foot warehouse announcement. That's,
Are we going to make a motion to accept these?
I think we already did accept those.
No, we did.
No.
July, not the June.
All right, then.
We should have did this one first.
Okay.
Oh, well,
Because the zoning bylaw amendment on this one was the special permit with the zoning board of
That was the
appeals.
one that did not go through on the June.
right.
Right. Planning board making a recommendation, which was the second motion, the bylaw amendment for the July meeting.
So do we
So we
have,
kind of have these backwards,
Yeah. I
just to
think it
make
makes
the
sense.
correction.
It's just notes.
It just
Yeah.
notes.
do we have a motion to accept these?
I motion to accept the June notes.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Now to this week's agenda.
This
We
week.
good?
Good.
All right, excellent. So first on the agenda, 1 million square foot warehouse announcement. You've made this announcement, correct?
July 18th, Board of Selectmen meeting. Kevin Lobuser of Lobuser Building Corp. and Andy Lennon of Pine Sand and Stone, a joint venture, announced a 1 million square foot warehouse on the McIntyre property. Preliminary plans include a new access road to Gilboa Street with a bridge across the Mumford River, basically downstream of the dam. That's it in a nutshell.
Have there been any updates since the Board of Selectmen meeting?
Believe it or not, at that time, there was one developer ready to come in. Lobuser was basically not the builder, they're not building it. Since that time, two other people have offered or entertained offers.
Okay.
The good news of that is Douglas is now on the map because
They're
of
all
that.
through Lobuser?
All through Lobuser. Lobuser will be picking one. They're not in a hurry to pick one because nothing can be done until the annual town meeting, because we have two articles on there which could basically kill the project. So they're waiting for town votes on those two articles. Once they pass, then they will get into the nuts and bolts of drawings and E&F filings.
Okay.
Which would bring us to our next point, a message to the voters, right? We need people to go out and vote to help us make this pass, right?
Yeah, I've kind of got a message here, if I could just
Please.
read it. I'm just going to read it verbatim. This is an EDC message to the voters for our upcoming annual town meeting. It seems like just yesterday, Prop 2.5 override passed unanimously at one of our annual town meetings. However, that override barely passed by ballot on the following election day. I think it was like 200 to 12 at the meeting, and it just passed by, I want to say, 12 votes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was slim, which tells me, don't entertain another 2.5 prop override, because it probably won't pass. The voters made it abundantly clear during that Prop 2.5 override time period that the town of Douglas must increase its commercial tax base to relieve the heavy burden of the residential tax base. It is to be noted, the current commercial tax base in Douglas stands at 4%. Most surrounding towns enjoy a much higher commercial tax base percentage, some of them in the 20 percentile. So I was at a meeting one day, and this guy was saying how they have a dismal tax rate of 14% commercial. And I looked at him and I said, it's 3.5 times more than we have.
Yeah.
Consider yourself lucky. Since that Prop 2.5 override, your EDC has been vigorously working to increase the commercial tax base, entertaining any businesses that approach us, then working more closely with those that would be a suitable fit in Douglas. For example, during the past few years, the EDC has discussion with cannabis cultivators of all sizes, from 1,000 square feet to 1 million square feet, and every size in between. We've entertained cannabis retailers, auto auction companies, car wash franchises, trucking ground schools, large commercial solar panel companies, natural gas suppliers, which includes Eversource, National Grid, Liberty Utilities, and others. And lately, very large distribution-type warehouses. As you can see, the EDC has been actively doing its part. In fact, at the recent August 18th Board of Selectmen meeting, an announcement was made by Lobus Building Corp. To build a 1 million square foot warehouse in the McIntyre gravel pit off Northeast Main Street, along with a new access road to Gilboa Street to relieve traffic and a new bridge to cross the Mumford River. There are several articles on the upcoming September 12th annual town meeting warrant which warrant your attention. These articles are associated with a large warehouse project and can easily double our commercial tax base overnight, only if these articles on the town warrant are approved by the voters. Voters, the ball is now in your court for future commercial development. You asked for increasing commercial tax revenue, the EDC delivered. The EDC did its job, will you do yours? So that's a message to the voters, what's coming up, in a nutshell.
Very nice, Bob, and excellent work the last 3 years, however.
3
long
years.
You've been working on this? It's amazing to see it.
Finally had one come through. Well, it's like in construction, you bid 7 jobs and hopefully you get one to actually build, and that's about the norm. So this is what, our 7th project, and one finally came through.
And what is the date of the annual town meeting?
September 12th, 10:30. It's a Saturday,
Saturday, September 12th.
and
Where?
rain date Sunday.
And it's going to be held where?
At the school.
At the school,
The high school?
they said football field,
I
but
think
we,
it's the middle school, if I remember right.
it's one of the fields.
Elementary, middle,
Elementary
yeah, the
school.
same field right there.
Okay.
It's that big field down,
It's the newer one,
yeah.
yeah.
So it's going to be outside.
It's outside, definitely outside.
An outside meeting.
But we still need people to show up in person outside at the school to vote on these things. So please do that.
Right, and this is on trying times. We've never had an outside meeting.
Right.
I've been following other town meetings, and the attendance is usually around 100. And from what I understand, they'll be setting up 100 chairs. Usually we get 300-400 people at some of these meetings.
Yeah.
So these are very challenging times. We don't know what to expect. So it's critical that we get the yes voters out there.
And if we don't get the yes voters, if that vote were to fall through, what would that do in terms of economic development for Douglas for the next few years?
Probably stop it dead in its tracks.
So it would crush us
Yeah.
pretty much for the next foreseeable future. So we
Right.
really need people to come out and vote the next week, the 12th. So
It's only
please do
2
that.
Saturdays from now.
2 Saturdays from now.
You can't put off a 2.5, Prop 2.5 override and no development. You pick one. You have to pick one. Which one do you want?
Right. So, right before,
I was going to say, do we want to publish that on the Facebook page?
You can if you want.
Why not?
I was going to talk to
Well,
Matt, see if we could read it at the Board of Selectmen meeting next Tuesday, which is
Do both of them?
3 days prior.
Okay. Yeah, let's get a copy up on probably the Facebook page.
Okay,
Probably get more people reading it on the Facebook page.
100%.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't go into the detail of what the changes actually are, what the two things we need to have them there for, the votes.
Oh, we could actually link that, though.
do we
Yeah.
know the wording of it right as
We'd
it
have to
stands
look at
right
the town
now?
vote, the language for the votes,
The article.
the articles.
I
Yeah.
believe it's Article 12 and Article 14 are the two we're looking at. Article 12 is the sale of the two pieces of land. It's lot number 13844, which is where the parking lot and the dam is, but it's only a portion of that. I believe that piece is 25 acres, we're only selling 9, or 8 acres out of that.
Yep.
The adjacent property, which abuts the Uxbridge Town Line, is lot 139-1, that is 9.3 acres. That's being sold in its entirety. That's actually where the access road is going.
Now, will the town moderator make it clear to the voters at the time that he reads the warrant that that is the article that's related to this particular situation? Will people understand which things we need
I
them to
think
help?
the selectmen are going to be announcing that earlier,
Oh, okay.
to combine those two articles, not combine them, but associate those two
Sure,
articles
yeah.
with a project.
Maybe vote on both together or something.
Yeah. And the other one is the rezoning article that we pushed through,
Right.
that we sponsored, outside a building.
Okay. Just want to make sure we make it as easy as possible for people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we need a yes on this one, we need a yes on that one. Please vote yes on.
Article 22 is on a TIF, there's actually 3 of them, but the TIF will not be ready, so that'll be bypassed.
Okay.
All right.
Do you know what, oh, this is Article 12.
Article 12 is sale of land, Article 14 is the zoning bylaw amendment.
Okay.
The zoning bylaw amendment, Appendix A here?
It was the thing that-
Yeah, that's the Table A use regulations.
Yep. So that's on our agenda again for today to discuss adding uses for the car wash, right?
Yeah, that's,
Well, let's get to that.
we're not getting to, when we get to there, I'll make a disclaimer.
Okay. Excellent. All right.
Good work, Bob, getting up together.
Amazing work.
Yeah, if you can
It's-
just send out that copy of that so we can post it.
Yeah, I will make copies for you before you leave.
A soft copy? Do you have a Word document?
Oh, yeah, I get it on Word.
Easier, thank you.
Okay.
Otherwise, one of us is typing it up.
Yeah.
You look like a man that types fast, though.
No.
Minutes.
Excellent. So are we good with the message? That was very well done, Bob. Thank you.
Thank you.
All good?
You go.
All right. Moving on, we have a reorg here, or every year, each
I
board.
thought it was yearly. Is there already time for that?
I
Yeah,
got an email that it's time for that.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
So it's time for us to reorganize the board. Is there anything that we need to change?
I make a motion to keep it as is.
I would second that.
Okay, I'm for that.
All right. All in favor? Aye.
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 Unanimously, we keep it as is.
Quickest reorg ever. Okay.
Boom, done. And next up,
Do you want to say who's who, just for the record?
You'll be good.
who's who? We have,
No, rolls. You're the
I
chair.
am the chairman. Bob is the co-chairman.
I'm the secretary.
He's the secretary. And
Okay.
that's it, right? We don't have any more roles.
No, you're good.
But we were discussing maybe adding, ancillary members?
We have
Alternate?
to run that by the board. 'cause
Yeah, we gotta
the board
run
only
it by
has
the
5 seats for this
Yeah.
committee, so that would have to be a board thing to
The
actually.
Board of
go-
Selectmen?
Board of Selectmen would have to be the ones to bring up an extra.
And Scott has entertained an interest to join our board. He's going to have to fill out an application
Yep.
to make it official.
Yep.
And then let the Board of Selectmen either create an alternate or just stand by until an opening becomes available.
Yep, it's just interesting so people that are watching the video can kind of see how it works. If they want to join a board, that's how you go about joining a board. Excellent. So you say you have a disclaimer here?
Yeah, the disclaimer, we're talking about number 4, the
The zoning bylaw.
zoning bylaws. As you know, some of these projects I mentioned in here, they fit our bylaws. The million-square-foot warehouse, we actually have a zoning bylaw which specifies warehouses in the industrial zone. All those boxes are checked. If you look at car wash, it's not allowed anywhere in this town. I mean, you could get creative fitting it into some of these articles like service, public service, but that's kind of stretching the issue. I looked up on Webster, Uxbridge, Sturbridge, Southbridge, Charlton, Oxford, looked at all their zoning bylaws, and most of them specifically mention car wash. They restrict it to certain zones. We call it zones, they call it districts. So that's what I invited everybody here tonight for, just input to see. I know Paul and I have been approached by a car wash. I forgot that lady's name, not Jenna. Rochelle. And she's been bugging us for quite a while now. We've been trying to find a place for her, but lo and behold, even if we found a place for her, it's not allowed. So we're going to have to start at the beginning. We have a business who wants to come to town, and we got zoning bylaws. What's the path to get there? And that's why I've invited zoning board, planning board to this meeting, just for their input to see how we get there.
Do we know how some of those other towns have looked at a car wash? Is it tied to a certain, like, industrial, commercial? Are there restrictions on it? Do we have kind of a overview of that?
Some towns are by right, most towns are special permit. I would recommend special permit so we maintain control over it. The planning board obviously will be making that final decision. The planning board is the one who implements the zoning bylaws. Just like we passed one through, it went to the Board of Selectmen, to the planning board, now it's on the warrant for acceptance. We'd have to do basically the same process. We'd have to create a new zoning bylaw with the word car wash on it, and then have a frank discussion of what districts do we want it in. Obviously, we don't want it in residential agriculture. Maybe you guys do. Do we form a committee where we have 2 members of every board in town, and then the town engineer joins and 2 citizens? Do we form a committee to look into this?
I think that's a good idea, just for the exercise of getting the boards working together as people, just so everybody knows each other better. Putting little sub-boards together, I think, is just great in practice for any reason, really. Any excuse.
Now, we have 2 members in the audience who are from other boards. Do we have any input? John? Bob?
In regards to a special permit, in regards to a car wash, that would be the easiest way to go. The easiest way.
Yeah. Seems our green book is loaded with special permits.
Yeah. Yeah, we're still at the very end. Now you got to decide where you want to put one. And like you said, one in the middle of residential area.
And probably not village residential.
No, it'd probably be like near Grand U Tech area or somewhere out on Route 16 with, there were probably spots that we could find, but you'd have to have the right special permits and stuff.
Right, same thing like Gilboa Street, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And I believe we have an aquifer problem as well.
Oh, definitely.
What's
Yeah,
that?
make sure it's not near an aquifer, and probably, we would have a lot of questions on discharge, what kind of chemicals are used, can it be discharged into the ground, can it be discharged into a sewer? So we just have a few questions to ask on that, and, he'd be willing to talk about it, and we can discuss it with our assistant manager,
Bob Sullivan. Yeah, I wish he was here, because he would have some good input. just to scratch the surface and see what we're up against. That's the
Right.
reason for tonight. We're not proposing any zoning bylaws, none of that right now. We're just trying to see that path, establish the path to get.
So, I mean, it sounds like special permit would probably be almost, I don't want to say no-brainer, but the most obvious. As far as availability of land, I mean, I think I can pick a few in my head that might be off of 16 Davis Street towards the Uxbridge side. Depends on where the business wants to go. Do they want to go towards Webster or Uxbridge?
Town water.
Town
You
water.
would need town water.
100%.
I would think.
Yeah.
And Davis Street does not have town water.
No, but that was always
At
a
the
high school, but that was the project that we started last year. Discussion is, at
Yeah.
some point, it makes sense to bring it up that way anyways.
We had a company,
What cost though?
Yeah,
100% there's a cost.
It's just,
Yep.
yeah, that's stretching everything.
yeah. It's a lot of money for a car wash.
Well, no, I guess the point is, like, if we knew that that's an option, do we push on some of the other opportunities that might be towards Uxbridge? Because we do have other property that is available in that area. So it would be probably a combination deal if we were gonna go pushing stuff like that.
how far is the aquifer on Gilboa?
To be honest with you, I'm not sure offhand. I'm not sure, I think some of that aquifer was taking off because
Right.
it was so, it might be still on there, but it was so high in magnesium that it wasn't worth,
Is it in here, the map?
it probably is. I can't remember the exact discussion we had on it, but I don't know if it was taken off or we tried to have it taken off because.
I think it was taken off.
Manganese.
Because at one point it was going all the way over to, through Bosmas and stuff. Yeah, I think that was taken off.
It was taken off.
Yeah, yeah. You know, part of one of the places where they had the aquifer, there really wasn't,
By the pit and the-
yeah, you know, they had the pit in an aquifer. The pit was not in an aquifer, trust me, we went drilling everywhere for water looking for it.
Right, yeah.
But now you went another 300 or 400 feet over and you were into where those wells were, and that was it was an aquifer, it's not in Douglas, but the pit itself was not in an aquifer, no, it
And I'm
wasn't.
assuming the corner and north property, the Heaney property, is probably would be a no-go for something like this based on.
Well, I don't know, I don't think that's in the aquifer.
No, I don't think that is either.
Okay,
It's not in the
but
aquifer.
that's in residential-ish sort of.
No, it's commercial.
Oh, actually, that corner's commercial? Okay.
Yeah.
Traffic there is perfect for that type of discussion.
Yep.
I mean, that's an optimal. And I know there's sewer and water over there, I think. So,
If you go down Gilboa Street and heading towards 146 on the left-hand side, just before you get to all those apartment buildings,
Yeah,
there's a lot of land in there that's still the mill, I think still owns.
yep.
You're right.
Yes, 60 acres.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are other, I think we have options though in town that are, at least, we can think about.
Right.
I think the bylaws don't actually say you can't have a car wash, but they don't say you can have one either.
Right.
And so that's what we want to do, get it in there.
But we need protection for the town.
Has nobody
And
ever
also,
tried?
The water and sewer business needs to be
The
tied
thing
into
with
it.
these zoning bylaws, if it's not specifically mentioned, it is not allowed.
But this has never come up before in the last 50 years? Like
Nope.
nobody's thought about a car wash?
Car wash here.
Okay.
Nobody's been coming here to put
Yeah, Bob,
anything.
I have one in my house, so.
Well, yeah, there was a thing brought up about a car wash, but it actually was in Uxbridge, by the Shell station.
By the Shell station.
Oh,
It
okay.
had nothing to do with it, yeah.
So it sounds like, how do we move this forward then, I guess the question, right? Do you have to get the right people in a room just to have the right conversations so that we could actually potentially pass something? I think that sounds like where we have to go.
When's your next meeting?
We do this monthly.
Okay, so I would probably, if I were you, I would probably ask the chairman, I mean Bob, down at the water and sewer, to get him involved
Yep,
and get the aquifer information, probably to do that.
perfect.
And then start going from there, just looking around where we can put it.
Well, personally, I think that the first thing you have to do is get a bylaw changed then or something, so you could have a car wash,
Well, we're just talking about a special permit.
special permit.
Yeah.
That would
Yeah,
have
but I
to be
mean-
definitely.
Yeah,
If we can get I think what he's saying is if we can get alignment between all the people, the right
Yeah.
people,
Right.
that way when we go in for a special permit, it will almost, by the time it gets to vote, at least everybody's aligned on it.
yeah.
Right.
Because I mean, it's not gonna make this vote, which means unless we do a special vote, it's not
It'll
until
be in the springtime.
springtime. So we got till, was it May or
Springtime,
whatever?
the earliest, we won't have enough time to make it on the November meeting, the
Right.
special town meeting.
No.
But to get it in for May, you have to be working earlier than that, so we'll have some work to do.
You need something done by the end of February.
And there might be things that you want to put in there, like you probably don't want a car wash within so many feet of town wells, stuff like that.
That's something we have to see, you know.
Right.
If they have a recovery system.
Right,
or
right,
There's a lot of.
right, but
different
that's,
things
So I think to create this bylaw, you need to investigate what some of the other towns have gone through, look at their versions, like Uxbridge obviously has the one over in 146A, and we have enough probably that we can look at to see if we can mimic them.
Right.
Oxford has one, Webster has one.
I think the first thing, you have to go to planning board, wouldn't you, on that, John, or?
Yeah, but I mean, when you start getting it together, the first thing, like I said, it would be a town water, town sewage.
Yeah.
And the aquifer. See if it's feasible before we go any further than that.
Yeah.
If you pick out designated areas like Gilboa Street and Uxbridge Way, and it doesn't qualify, it's not gonna qualify, it's why bother go through the other
It's a
motions? if you
mute,
get what
it's a
I'm
mute
saying.
point at that,
I'm sorry?
it's a mute point at that point.
Yeah, yeah,
It's dead on arrival.
then all right. Yeah.
At the
I mean, at the
perfect,
other end of Route 16, there is water down there,
Towards Webster,
yeah, KOA, so.
yeah.
there's already, there's a
There's
part,
already,
We already plug into the Shell station, there's water there,
right,
so.
but there's already car wash right at that
The
mobile
mobile.
station.
Right.
In the Indian Ranch.
Right.
But that's not like a people car wash, that's just a machine, right?
Yeah, sometimes it works.
sometimes you get caught in it.
I'm assuming when somebody says car wash, it's like what's in Uxbridge on 146A.
Would
Something with that
town
big,
sewer
yeah.
be preferable?
That all depends on what would be discharged. into the
Chemicals.
sewer.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, the
there's
chemicals vary.
variables,
Yeah.
we'd have to actually see, you know, what kind of chemicals would be dropped in there, if there would be anything in there, would there be a recovery system where it would be taken out? Would there be a filtration system? There's so many variables.
So we need somebody that actually has some knowledge in this space that would probably help guide some of these conversations. That would probably help a lot.
I mean, it would be my opinion that the car wash corporations that build all these have different venues, in different areas. Maybe it is something that could be filtered and reused again as far as the water goes. And maybe if there's any sludge, it could be disposed of in the proper way. That's what I would do first, but again, go back to the
Sewer and
aquifer, and find out whether or not it's feasible.
I heard, but I don't know if it's true or not, that they have to recycle 75% of the water that they use in
See,
car
that's a lot.
washes.
I think that is the case.
Yeah.
It's a lot of water.
Yeah,
But I
they
think
have
to
to
that point-
recycle it, so they're not using quite as much, because we're always on a water ban.
Yeah.
Right.
Not that we don't have enough water, but the state won't let us take it.
So to that point, I think that's why I was getting at. I think we need a list of facts that kind of surround that, the corporations that do car washes.
I know when Paul and I were talking to Rochelle, was it?
Yes.
Her and I got into a discussion one day, and she said they do filter it. Their biggest problem is in the winter when people come with the salt spray. Now the water gets really salty, so they have to filter that out. They obviously filter out the sand. That's when you get the most sand on the undercarriage as well. You get oil, but that is skimmed off the surface, so they,
Oil is easy to deal with.
yeah, because it just floats on the top.
Separator.
Does she already own car washes?
I believe she has them in Worcester.
Okay, so is it worth it to talk to her for a little bit, just to see what she knows about this?
I mean, we could get her in at one of these meetings just to,
I'm just trying to find a source of knowledge that somebody in the industry that knows this, whether it's reaching out to somebody else or somebody that's a potential for us, but either way. Unless we're worried about being biased with somebody that wants their place in here, but either way, we should figure it out. So.
I've actually Googled car wash and zoning.
Oh, Google will teach us everything. I'm not worried about that. We can figure that
but
out.
there's probably 100 different types of car washes too. Which one is specifically coming here?
You should probably get some details from her.
Right. Which one do we want to accommodate?
I think we have a month now from today, so I think we can get her contacted and probably some information from her, and then that way, to their point, we can bring in Bob and some other folks and have the details.
Get into the next step and go a little further down, kick the can down the road a little bit further.
Get knowledgeable, figure out what a bylaw looks like, get agreement on bylaw, pass bylaw at town meeting, hopefully original person was correct and comes in with the same plans that they wanted in the first place. But I think that should be roughly where we go.
I mean, the ideal place would be out near Family Fields, near the highway building.
No, I don't think so.
Complex up
Is that the
there.
ideal place?
That's where the wells are, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's
No,
the
I was
ideal
gonna say
place.
North Street, Lucky Dam area is probably a high
We're
traffic.
open to it, I mean, may be ways of protecting,
If it's a closed system, there's no
swimming
sewer,
areas, we're open to anything, you know.
there's no sewer there though, right? The sewer goes,
There's no
stops there
sewer there.
at GBI, so you'd have to extend
We
sewer
have
up.
to run sewer up there.
Oh, we plan on building a town building up there, highway department buildings, they will need sewer
I mean, it'd be a good idea to bring sewer up there, definitely, you know.
and natural gas if we can get it in downtown area, run it right up 16.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're gonna have to do an analysis of all the different options for properties, but we have to understand the implications.
Mhm.
Yeah.
How far does the sewer extend, up to Franklin Street? Is that where it stops
Yeah.
on,
Yeah, it's GBI.
oh, it goes up to GBI?
That's right there, Franklin, basically.
We now, I believe we now have a land that we could put a pump station on now that the town owns, but it would be, you know, pretty good.
Yeah,
But,
because
you know,
now it's all
still the cost
gravity,
of running the sewer up there, and,
now it's all gravity feed.
yeah, it'll be gravity feed down to
But
that.
once you go over the hill and then up the hill, you're talking pump
Yeah,
station.
it depends how far you go, yeah.
But we have the land now down in that area where we could put a pump station on town.
You talking about the old mobile?
Oh, yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, everything can run gravity, you know, we've always talked about bringing, put a bathroom over in the town common.
The whole reason for sewer up there.
Soccer field, you know?
Okay, so what are the next
That's
steps?
to cost money. You know.
So you guys meet the first week of every month on Wednesday?
First Wednesday of every month.
Yeah,
Because we meet the second
October
Wednesday.
7th is our next meeting.
I'm sorry?
October 7th.
Okay. Yeah,
October 7th is our next
Yeah.
meeting.
And we could always have a joint meeting. I mean, that's, we've had a joint meeting before when we were discussing water sewer extension of
Yeah.
Davis Street, when that project was coming in and then they failed.
well, you know, we have to, you know, for us, if, say for instance, 2 more members of my board came in, we would have had to post it.
Exactly.
So we can't, you know.
Yeah.
That's why I got the email last night, I guess, or yesterday. And I threw Bill, you know, a message what time to.
Yeah, that's why I told Bill, not more than 2 people from.
Well, that's what I mean, so that's why it's gonna be hard
Yeah.
because if you wanna do it, you gotta do it right away, meaning you gotta start it now, so we can meet next time, you know.
I was gonna say, exactly, we start now, I mean, you
Yeah.
guys said you're the second Wednesday this
Second
month, so
Wednesday.
you're the week after us.
Yes,
So we can figure out how to join up the October one if we want to.
it's fine with me.
Yeah, and I don't know, when do you guys,
We meet the first Tuesday of the month.
okay, so we're all roughly in the
You know,
same area.
Same thing, if we have 2 people here, we have to post a meeting.
Yeah,
Oh, if you have 2,
If we,
yeah.
Bob Sullivan and myself can come in.
Right, because you're 3 members, so 2 out of 3 would be a
Yeah.
majority.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, but Bob's not on the board, so.
Oh,
Right.
perfect. Yeah,
he's
One
an
of us
employee.
can come in.
okay.
But you're 5 members, so.
Yes,
2 could attend and you don't have a majority.
right,
Am I correct on that?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't see why early October joint one, I mean, it's far enough away, we can plan this pretty easily.
Oh, yeah, if that's the case, we can post it, yeah.
We'll post that, and let's just, if we spend between now and then.
Week.
Yeah, exactly. And if we spend between now and then contacting Rochelle, or I forgot her name,
Yep.
Yep.
Rochelle.
seeing if we can get info from her, seeing if she's even interested in coming for just an open general discussion with her knowledge, bringing it in front of both planning and EDC and maybe even sewer. I mean,
Yep.
can't hurt, besides those 3 groups, I don't think we have to worry about, I mean, we don't need zoning. Conservation will be, oh,
Well, I'm zoning,
that's true, you got
Yeah.
zoning, yeah.
so we're
planning
still
board-
talking special permit, so that'll be a planning board.
That's planning.
Planning board.
Yeah,
So,
don't need conservation, hopefully.
And I had mentioned,
I mean,
Depends on where it is.
that depends on.
That's the whole trick,
So,
yeah.
yeah, I'm just gonna say, let's find out what the Aquifer is.
Exactly, I don't wanna deal with that,
16, and
yeah.
We'll start from there, you know, so.
I had mentioned previously, not in a residential agricultural area, but if you look at Gilboa Street, on the south side, the dam side,
Mhm.
that whole strip, the
Is-
parking lot included,
Yep.
is RA.
Really?
Yeah, but they're so close to the
And
water.
45-1 is the only spot you could actually, it's a vacant lot, which is doable for a car wash.
Who owns it?
It's just before on the right-hand side, is it not?
Person in Milford.
Yeah,
Okay, so
Yeah,
it's
it's
outside.
actually on the bend. As
Right.
you bend,
it's on the right-hand side.
It's on the right-hand
Towards
side.
the
146.
second cluster of houses right across from that first.
It wasn't that little clearing that was there, was it? It was after the clearing, that little clearing, right? There was always that little tiny.
Yeah, like somebody
clearing thing.
dumped a couple of loads of
Something like that, yeah.
bricks and stuff, yeah.
Okay.
It's right on the bend, the curve.
Okay, so how do we want to, so I guess let's do this. So should we plan for a joint? Early
It's up to you
October?
guys.
Joint with zoning,
Chairman,
joint with
no.
planning, or joint with water and sewer, or
Joint with
everybody?
these three for right now, zoning.
Zoning, water and sewer too,
Zoning, water and sewer.
Ernie was supposed to come tonight too. from
but not
plan,
planning.
Just for his input.
Getting 4 teams, 4 boards together into one meeting would be pretty historical.
Yeah, it would be.
Or have,
And ZBA would have to be here too, plus plan.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you think that's a little premature, though?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I think we need to get some more.
Get the information.
get
More
more
information
information, go
together,
for
yeah.
December, right.
Because we've got until
Okay, we
the
can do that.
springtime. I think that's premature to get all the boards together.
Okay,
We want to have all the answers, or most of them.
It won't take us long to do a bylaw amendment if we get to that point.
Right, right.
That's further down that path. We just write it up, we'll already have the input of the boards.
Right,
When we get to that point, I don't want to go through the exercise we just did with this outside
exactly.
building.
yep,
We did outside a building, zoning board with the special permit, goes to the selectmen
Kick
kicks
back.
it to the planning board, and planning board says, oh, we must be the, we have to be the special permit grantor. So now we started the whole process all over again,
Right.
which includes advertising, public notice. That's $400 for advertising in
Yeah.
the Worcester Telegram as a public notice, a legal notice.
so let's go October, we see about getting more information and knowledge for our meeting.
For our meeting.
People are welcome, maybe one from each of you guys
And-
want, and then
And I'll
December.
extend the
November.
invitation early enough to get 2 zoning board members, 2 planning board members, 1 from water sewer, and Bob Sullivan.
Bob. Yeah.
Now we can have more input in how we want to formulate, get this thing going. And then we'll have a joint meeting in December.
Okay, so that's a plan.
That sound like a plan?
Plan.
That's all we
Works for me.
wanted to do, is scratch the surface on this one.
And also, if we go back to her and basically show a little more interest, maybe then she'll clue us in if she is like really interested sooner than later, so we can know if this is
Yeah.
more of a push forward or,
And we might have to put it in RA or we rezone it,
Yeah.
which is another step.
at least we'll know ahead of time.
But that's where the special
Springtime.
permit comes into play, because it can be denied.
Yeah.
Cool.
You have control over special permits, as opposed to by right.
Or zoning, because now there's a zoning bylaw for it.
Yeah.
There's no description as far as how far you can go.
Yeah.
It would be a good idea to have somebody here that knows how the car washes operate.
That's what I'm pushing for, yeah.
So I'll even try to get her at at our next meeting, the next EDC meeting, which would be, you said October 7th,
October 7th. Right.
Wednesday?
Yep.
Okay.
And by the way, if we can't get her, we have to find another source of information besides Google.
Can we talk to Uxbridge?
Barry? Barry owns it. I don't know who knows him, but
Oh, I meant the town of Uxbridge.
The town of
They're,
Uxbridge?
Like, their planning board must have,
when that passed through, I don't know if the same people are even around.
yeah.
I don't know.
all right.
Yeah, and we've got unique issues that they don't have, like Aquifer for one.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, does anybody have anything else to discuss at this meeting?
Open discussion? Nope.
Burning desires and all that? Then do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Then we're good.